So I'm going to go through these 4 things and show you how we do this at CCP, how we attack those issues. Keeping the show going on is in the hands of our very capable operations department, or ops department. And as you can see there, we have a lot of boxes with hamsters inside them, just to spin the wheels to keep the service running. This is not actually true. We have very sophisticated blade racks and RAM SAM devices and a lot of hardware that I don't even know what's called. Operations handle this stuff, so the rest of us don't have to. And they're very good at it. The servers have been very stable lately, and they also handle our work machines. They handle conference equipment. They handle email servers. They handle everything related to hardware and software that is necessary for us to do our job and for the players to be able to play. Helping people is in the hands of the GMs. I mentioned the GMs before, so I was one of them. And these are mostly excellent people. They're just fabulous guys to work with. We have about 60 GMs now, though they are also spread all over the world. We have GMs in Atlanta, Reykjavik, Shanghai, and Dusseldorf. And let's face it, it can be a complex game. At times, there are certain things which can be a little bit complex sometimes. And players do need assistance at times, and the GMs are there to do that. That is their responsibility. They do so both proactively and reactively. What I call proactive is when they write articles, they write news pieces, they put something out there for the players to find and help a lot of people at a time. When they do things reactively is when a player runs into a problem and contacts us and says, yo, I just need some help. And then we help one-on-one, and that we do a lot of that as well. And the GMs also enforce the rules. The GMs are the sheriffs of the online space. They are the Texas walkers. Another analogy is that they are the nannies of the sandbox. They make sure everyone plays nice and everyone plays fair. And I was asked to mention that we actually have some openings for GM jobs. So if anyone's interested and has some customer support background or with something similar, then this is a very nice job to do. This is very fun. And I'll show you at the end of the lecture where you can apply. Now, this is a part of the 4th thing, developing the content. And this is really another transparency issue, fixing the bugs. If we don't fix the bugs, everyone's going to complain about them. If we do fix them all, nobody's going to notice. So then people are going to notice our content, they're going to notice our features, and they're going to notice what we want them to notice. So this is a very important part of developing a game, because it's not just a matter of putting out more content, it's always a matter of improving what we already have. We have 250,000 bug hunters. All our players encounter bugs at some point. I mean, there are more lines of code in Emaline than there are in Windows XP. So there are 1 or 2 bugs in there, and someone is bound to encounter something. And while we could go in the game and we could actively hunt the bugs down and try to find them and list them down, then it's a lot more efficient, it's a lot more thorough for us to use those 250,000 players to report the bugs to us. And they do that, and they're very diligent at reporting bugs, which is a great thing both for them and for us, because we manage to fix them a lot faster that way. We have a department that's responsible for fixing the bugs. They don't actually fix the bugs themselves, but they make sure they get fixed. And this is the QA department, or the Quality Assurance Department. So they go through the list of bug reports. We get a lot of bug reports every day, and most of them are duplicates of the same issue. And so they go through these lists and they compile and they prioritize and they sort through, and a lot of them tend to be based on misunderstanding. People think something is a bug, which might not be. So they verify and they confirm what is actually a bug and what isn't, and they create what we call a defect, which is a confirmed bug report. They send this to the programmers, the programmer fixes it, and then the QA needs to validate it again. Because I've been a programmer myself, and you'd be surprised how often something works on your computer but nowhere else. It's like your computer is totally different from any other computer in the universe. Now, if we do all these things right, then people are going to notice our features. The people are going to notice our content. And we like to think we have pretty good features, pretty good content. So we want them to notice it. And this is what I'm going to be going through the next 20 minutes. We're going to be taking a look at how we developed content for the Empyrean Age expansion, which is the latest expansion of EVE Online. It went incredibly smoothly. Everything just worked really well. So this is definitely a process we're going to be using in the future. And the first thing we do when we're about to build something new is that we go and we look for feedback from the players. There seems to be a very common understanding that all features and all ideas about EVE Online are dreamt up in some kind of 3 a.m. beer-induced haze. And while this is sometimes true, then most of everything we do is based on feedback from the players. Because the players know what they want, and we're not there to build features for ourselves, but for the players. There's 250,000 of them, and 350 of us, so 320 of us. So we want to build features for the players. And what we do, I'm going to take a case study and say here people are looking for a way to decorate their ships. And they want to do it through something nice, something maybe furry and pink to put on their ships. And okay, we can go with that. And then we start data mining. And we read the forums, and we check out player blogs, and we read fan sites, and we do pretty much everything we can to get different ways of player feedback. So we're going to go and see, okay, is it just this one guy who wants it, or is it the whole EVE player base that wants something furry in their ships? And if we find out that, okay, it's not just this one guy, it's actually quite a few people that want that, then what we do next is we might try to go and find some resources that will be used. And then we go to the database and we see, okay, this is being used this much, and this is being used that much. And in this case, we might find that carrots are being a little underutilized. We want something more that uses them. So we sit down in a brainstorming meeting, and at a brainstorming meeting we throw around a lot of Post-its. We just write down everything we can think of on the topic. Most of the ideas are really crazy and out there and never get used. But there's always this one idea that pops up now and then that just makes everything click. And in this case, it's pretty obvious what the best idea is, of course. Fluffy bunnies. Okay, so we want to make pink fluffy bunnies. What do? The first step is that we make a rough design. What is a pink fluffy bunny? So we come up with, yeah, okay, it's a animal that has pink fur, it has 4 legs, and it eats about 10 to 20 kilos of carrots a day. This is where I come in. I look at the rough design as a technical designer. I look at the rough design and I check, okay, is this technologically feasible to begin with? In this case, I don't really see a problem. The next step is I go through things and I just see, is everything detailed enough? Are we giving enough information for the programmers and the artists to be able to understand what we want to do? And if I'm happy about everything, we move on to official feasibility reviews. This is where we bring in the technology director and the art director separately though. And we go through all this with them and tell them what we want to do, what our goals are, and the way we've been thinking about this. And in this case, with the fluffy bunnies, the programmer might look at this and say, okay, our pathfinding programmer is going to be busy. Can we make them immobile? Can we have them in cages or something? And sure, that doesn't really conflict with any of our goals for the bunnies. So we're fine with that. They still look cute, they still have pink fur, and they still eat carrots. So not a problem. The art director might look at things and say, okay, we want them all to look the same, and we want them to all to move and chew the same. And we might be a little less hesitant to accept that they look the same, but okay, if there's a lack of resources, we might just have to accept that. And it doesn't really conflict with any of our goals either, since they're still going to be cute. They're just all going to be cute in the same way.